Alright, a real quick update on the hydroponic. Haven't been updating this frequently. The lettuce has been pretty much growing. I've been harvesting it off and on, and for some reason, and I don't know why, so starting in the back, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For some reason, the plants number 3, 4, and 5 have gone pretty limp. Number 4 got like a black spotted like fungus or something on it, so I trimmed that back and cut it back. But these new leaves are, they're not totally limp, so maybe 4 is okay. It's just growing back, obviously. Number 5, though, for some reason the leaves are real limp and they're not doing well, and I don't know why. Same thing with number 3. But number 1 and 2 back here are going to town. I need to harvest them a little bit more too here. I don't know what the difference is. We've had a little bit colder weather, and it's over by a window, so it's a little bit cooler than normal. We don't really heat it, so that might be part of it. Also, the plant roots for number 1 and 2 are kind of grown together into a big mesh, where the other ones are more separate and single, so I don't know if that has to do with it. Then the other thing is, I also switched fertilizers midway through, so I don't know what's causing it, but we're going to test another batch of lettuce in a different tray. I'm going to use the first fertilizer, and then I'm going to run another batch in this one and use the second fertilizer and see whether there's a difference in that regard or not. Then over here, just out of fun, I decided to toss some carrot seeds, and there's a few green onions in there, into some soil to see what would grow out of it. Obviously we've got a bunch of carrots and a few green onions growing up out of it. See how that does. Haven't had much luck. The catnip I'm growing from my mom. It's just getting started. I'll show you the other one in the other closet I moved in next to the water tank. It's a little bit warmer in there for the peppers, which have been growing very, very slowly because they don't like the cooler weather at all. But over here, though, as you can see, the Swiss chard's doing great. It loves the cooler weather. It's doing amazingly well. The kale is starting to really kick into gear. It's doing great. You can't see it in the left cube, but there is a microscopic spearmint plant started in it. And you got a new Swiss chard plant coming up. So that's this one. And that's my cat. Okay, it's the lemon cucumber. I've moved it into the closet. Hopefully it'll be a little warmer. It hasn't particularly been doing a lot of growth lately, and I think that might be part of the reason. It is putting out little shoots that are wrapping around a wire I've got hanging in here for it, so we'll see how it does it. I've got it in a 2-liter bottle, and the cat's tail is doing good. Anyway, the other ones are here. Just hung this up here. But basically in the front, the one that's really big and bushy, that's the catnip. It wasn't a smaller little container, but I pulled it out from it and I put it in a bigger container, which wasn't really the brightest idea at the time. I should have just cut another container with a smaller sized hole, because I tore out some of the root connections and stuff like that. So it went a little limp and it wasn't looking all that great for a few days afterwards, but it seems to have kicked into gear and is doing great. For some reason our cats haven't figured out it's catnip, but I don't know why. But at some point I'll figure out how to harvest this and give it to them, and then they'll love it. To the right, got the eggplant started. It definitely didn't like the cooler weather. I also had some root issues with that one, but it's starting to come back. The one in the back right is the Aji pineapple, which has been the slowest sprouting and growing thing I've ever seen in my life. Again, as a pepper, I don't think it likes the cooler weather, so hopefully in here it'll be a little bit warmer. The one right behind the catnip, that's a serrano pepper. You see it, I just took out of one I cut up for home use. It seems to be doing okay. It's getting going. The back left is a habanada. It's supposed to be a habanero without any spice, so that'll be cool. The one in the front left is a bell pepper, and oops, my cat too. The bell pepper, it's been slow growing, but it got going. And then for some reason the main root that was going down into the growth solution, it apparently died off or whatever, because it started wilting and going away. So I give it a little bit more fertilizer up to the bottom of the cup, to hopefully any of the roots that were in the rock wool or whatever be able to get a little bit of hydration that way. It seems to have worked. It's gotten a few more leaves on it. It's starting to grow. I also think it likes the slightly warmer space here in the closet next to the water tank. So hopefully we'll start seeing some pepper growth back here. The catnip's going to town, obviously, and I'll figure out how to use that for the cats. And that's basically the situation.